I collect other things like my video games. I've been playing games since 1994 and got many different systems throughout the years. It's a small collection compared to other people, but I'm still proud that my stuff is maintained and works still. I can easily pick out something and play it. I'm not a company fanboy. I have lots of stuff from pretty much every console from the 90s up. Nintendo, Sony, Sega, Windows, you name it. My first game system was this black Game Boy. I got it as a Christmas present. It was from that cool Play It Loud line Nintendo was promoting in 1994. That featured all the cool colors and that nice plastic holder. I still hate that I cut out the battery clips just to hold one more game, but my Game Boy is also special to me in another way. In 4th grade, I was in a car accident and my Game Boy survived it. It only has this one little scratch in the left corner, along with my legs having scars from that day, so I made sure to always keep the system as best as I could. What's really funny, it's been through all that and I never lost a link cable cover while people would lose this thing 5 minutes opening the box. Here's my wireless 360 controller. I use it for PC. I don't have any of the Xbox consoles. The Smash Wii U GameCube adapter. I really hate that Nintendo didn't make flaps for the box. My Game Boy Color. I never liked the color options for the system, so I just picked Berry because the C in color was that. Weak component cable box, another one that doesn't have a flap lid. I just use it to store extra stuff. My Pro Controller. Really hate that Nintendo didn't include this controller with the system. I don't use the gamepad normally. My original GBA. I was kind of stupid picking up the white one, but so far it hasn't yellowed. I recently did some work on it, replaced the screen and cleaned it. It was filled with feathers from an old coat. Now this was my very first console. I got this late in 1997, which helped me out because my SNES hasn't badly yellowed like most of the ones I've seen on eBay. I also ripped out the tab so I could play Super Famicom games. The back is my favorite part. It has all the cool screenshots of games. Some of my favorites are Uniracers, Super Punch-Out, and Super Metroid. My DS Lite. I never got the first DS. It was really ugly even for 2005. This is actually my second one because my launch one had the hinge snapping problem. Now my favorite handheld is my GBA NES edition. I loved how the outside was the NES and the inside was the controller. I did modify mine so that it had the Model 101 backlight screen. Famicom Super Famicom AC adapter. Japan sold these separate from the system. I usually don't want to buy other versions of handheld, but I had to get the XL, not just for Zelda, for the 3D switch. The XL one locks it in place. I don't care about 3D, but the 2DS is a crap design. I did get the launch 3DS. Don't really use it anymore, but I'll need it every now and then if I want to trade Pokemon. Here's my AV Famicom. You'll recognize it as the top loader. I got the Japanese version for 3 reasons. 1, I wanted the Famicom disk system. 2, don't want hardwired controllers. And 3, the US top loader only has RF out and didn't want to waste my time to mod AV in. The 3DS LL/XL dock. NOA doesn't sell these in stores, so I had to get Japan's. You don't need to convert the power. My PS1. I got into Sony's system really late. I got this around December 2000, so I didn't really enjoy a lot of games because the PS2 was coming out, so PS1 games were starting to not get restocked. I really hate the PS4 box. Sony cuts the edges with a dog or something. The edges are all jagged. I don't know how many times I got cut on this thing. It sucks that no in-game screenshots are on the back, just pre-rendered art and PlayStation Plus spam. Club Nintendo Luigi 3DS holder. It does hold the XL2, just push it in more. One of the last things I ordered before they got rid of it. And this was stupid, the second model PS3 Blu-ray remote. This one operates your TV while the first one didn't, so I bought it for my PS4, and then Sony never allowed it to work, so I went and bought an Oppo player, never used the system for media again. My Model 1 GameCube, I modded mine to remove the region lockout. I also took off the handle. Basically, they only added it for people with small hands. If this was made only for the US, it probably would have never had the handle. I prefer using my GameCube over Wii's BC mode, less steps to load up the games, and the GB player. The Wii, it was such a pain in the ass to get one in the first year. I had to overpay for it because it was out of stock for months, and on top of it, my box had this dumb hole. My PS3 Slim, I was never going to pay $600 for a console no matter what it has. This one was the 120GB version, but I did put a 80GB SSD in it, so when I store it, I don't have to worry about banging the console around. The Slim also has the stupid jaggy edge problem. At least it had game screenshots on the back. And my N64, this one was a Toys R Us bundle that came with the neon green controller and the atomic purple controller for free. You can see I took off most of the sticker. I wish I didn't. This version is fairly rare. More cool games on the back, but why NFL Club 98? They should have put Resident Evil 2. Here are most of my big box PC games. Flight Sim 2000, I got the regular version. At the time I didn't know about the Pro version. This also is the last time the Concorde plane and the World Trade Center building models were used. Oh, I love the Starfleet command box. It has a nice slipcover and a huge detailed instruction book. I'm glad fans patched the game to work on Windows 7. Free Space 2, a really great space fighter game. It's freeware now, so you can download the high resolution mod with the whole game. Some people might not know, it was made by Violition, the makers of the St. Rose series. The very first MS Train Simulator, which is sadly better than Dovetail's one, half the time because the game engine is crap in theirs. This one just works fine. I do hate that the CDs are in those crap cardboard sleeves. My wired 360 controller, I used this before I got the wireless one, and just in case if I wanted to play 2-player games on PC. Now this is the Super Columns Game Gear bundle. The game's kind of crappy. I did have to fix my system. The power board failed, a common thing with Game Gears. I also got rid of the CFL bulb. That's why the system kills your batteries in a few hours. Or, if you use the rechargeables, they die in 5 minutes. I just put in some LED bulbs. They work fine. The power back set that came with the battery pack and the AC adapter. This was cheap, sealed in box. I got it mainly for the official AC adapter. The battery pack is okay, it still works. Speaking of battery packs, the Game Boy AC adapter, I've never seen anyone use the battery pack function. It had a clip for your belt, so it acted like you had a Walkman on. Since I had the AV Famicom, I decided to get the Japanese version of Rob. This is Robot Gyro, aka Gyromite. It's basically the same, just a different color scheme. Here's the main reason why I got the AV Famicom. The Famicom disk system is another thing in Japan that just uses the foam as the back. Zelda 1 was released first on the FDS, and other games have save functions that the US versions don't, like Castlevania. That's why I got it. I got this PS2 Slim so late, barely 2 years ago. I picked GameCube over the PS2, so I never bought one and missed out on all those games. I've always regretted it, but now I have one, although the box is pretty banged up. Here's my Uncharted 3 Collector's Edition. It's okay. I like Drake's ring and statue, but the cabinet thing is pretty useless. I still haven't played Uncharted 1 or 2 yet. Oh yeah, remember when Star Trek Online was a pay MMO? I got it just for the insignia pin and a few of the exclusive item codes. They work, so if you pick up a copy, the Red Matter code is good to go. My PC copy of Halo 2, I only got it last year. I refused to buy it because it was locked to Vista. I don't support products that do this. Here's Robot. All this stuff was sold separate in Japan, unlike the more common US Deluxe set. The Rob only box is identical besides the outer artwork. I kind of regret buying the collector's edition for Batman Arkham Asylum. The main piece was the replica Batarang, but it's made of cheap plastic. I also bought it used, so the DLC code didn't work. Only the second disc is worthwhile. My Model 2 Genesis. I got this because I used a crappy third-party AC adapter on my SNES and blew the fuse out, so I needed something till I got it fixed. Never buy those changeable tip adapters because polarity matters. Hate that there's only cover artwork for the games in the back though. Finally, up to my games. Here's some of my small box PC games, my favorite one being Bridge Commander. This game is 15 years old and is still better than Star Trek Online. Halo 1 PC, MS Games really love cardboard CD holders. Starfleet Command 3, I never got to, or the expansion packs for some reason. Armada 1, another game that fans got working on Windows 7, still a real good RTS. And the Elder Scrolls collection. I love the maps and having all the game discs, but they use the crap cardboard book disc holder. You gotta take the games out of this thing. I barely scratched my Morrowind. Mario Paint, still like that bug minigame. My mouse still works, but it's yellowing badly. And Super Game Boy 1. This came with a cool color booklet so you can manually set colors for games that don't have a color palette. Really wish Nintendo made a 3DS player. Moving on to Game Boy, I have most of the Pokemon games. I got Mystery Dungeon, but I never liked its gameplay, so I never continued with the series. I did also get Pocket Monsters Green. We never got it here in the normal sense, because they modified blue. I prefer the Japanese GB boxes. They're smaller and came with more cooler stuff. In the US, we got those trainer books in red, blue, and yellow. Japan got the Kanto map as a bonus. Way more useful. I tried keeping these in really good condition. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire's metallic finish did get rubbed off. At least Emerald was made different, and my Fire Red and Leaf Green are the ones that came with the wireless adapter. I had to replace most of the game batteries, especially Wario Land 1. I played that game so much, along with Donkey Kong, those batteries died like 8 years ago. I just never got Pokemon Silver and Crystal for whatever reason. That Star Wars game for Game Boy, it was just a port of the bad NES game. Tetris 2, no one even knows the sequel exists. All 3 DK Land games. Of course I have the GB cleaning kit, I always get them. It also doubles as my Famicom cleaner too. Here's my DS collection, if you can call it that. At this point I started caring less and less about completing the Pokedex. I did finish Diamond and Pearls but skipped Platinum. And I didn't like Black and White Story. Metroid's controls were horrible, Nintendogs. I didn't really like that the dogs didn't grow up. Anyone remember the DS browser? This was a major thing at the time, but it was really hard to find in stores. It uses expansion RAM, and owners of the original DS were really screwed since that version was only sold on Nintendo's website. My Game Shark Pro, I used this solely for Pokemon, being able to float in the air, have unlimited HP, and even get into Crystal's cell phone building in the US version. But mine got messed up. It had the ability to store codes. If you go into it now, it just freezes. Really love the Game Boy camera. For the time, it did pretty impressive things. Being able to swivel the camera lens basically made it the first selfie camera. I got this complete NES controller set for cheap. You can't use the Dogbo controllers with Rob, but there is a catch. Whoever owned this left this in a garage for years. It was filled with soot. It took me hours to clean everything. Here's the rest of my small box PC games. Some of my personal favorites are Battlefield 1942, Underground, San Andreas, Flight Sim X, Saints Row 4, Most Wanted, and GTA 5. I still buy physical copies of PC games if they're available. I installed GTA 5 faster from this than downloading it. A couple of loose games. Portion Lease was actually a free game I got with my old 2001 compact PC. Got the CD versions of KOTOR 1 and 2, a friend gave them to me, and Beyond Earth comes with a nice mini poster. Some of the games are from the UK, they're the only ones that had physical copies. Next up is my SNES collection. I got the Super Game Boy 2. Really sucks it wasn't released in the US. It was way better than the original. More borders, color options, and the ability to link with the Game Boy. This was coming out at the same time as Pocket Monsters Blue. I wonder if that influenced the color. The Super Star Wars games are my favorite. I actually bought them backwards. Goof Troop, Capcom was amazing with the Disney afternoon shows. Star Fox, Mario Kart, and Mega Man X, which I never beat. Sigma was a real pain in the ass. Here's my Dragon Ball Z games. The series is called Super Bowden, one of the best 2D fighter games on Super Famicom. Ignore the first one, the characters are limited. And of course the SNES cleaning kit. Want an official dust cover for your games? Buy these and steal it from here. My NES collection is pretty small. Remember, I got the system not too long ago. 5 of the Family games came with the system. First up is Robot Block, aka Stack Up. Zelda 1 on disc. It's missing the box cover. Turtles 3, couldn't find one with the box. It's also holding my NES to Family converter. Turtles 1, Zelda 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, Turtles 2, and Return of the Joker. Yeah, the game is hard as hell, but it's still good. My loose Family games are Dr. Mario, Salamander, aka Life Force, Dragon Ball 3 Goku Den, Night Gundam Story 3, Pachiko-kun 2, and Pro Baseball. My N64 is just a Pokemon station with very little anything else. First up is Pocket Monster Stadium. What the US got was actually Stadium 2. The first one was designed to work with the failed 64 disk drive add-on and only supported 49 Pokemon without it. It had a different interface than 2, and I can use my green version with it so it doesn't go to total waste. This is the 64 GB bundle version. US Stadium is also the transfer pack bundle. This thing cost $120 when it came out, one of the main reasons why I hardly got anything for N64. Stadium 2, I got this not too long ago. I only rented the game originally. Yep, I got the cleaning kit too. And of course, I fell for the Pikachu hype. This game is really bad, and not because of the tech or the price. It just sucks. There's nothing really fun about it besides it being a Pikachu Tamagotchi. It still works fine today, but the yellow foam disintegrated over the years. I remember this was over $100 and I got it for $80. Now I totally want a sequel to Snap. This is even simpler than Pikachu, but way more fun. I don't count that Pokemon Go app as a sequel. I like that the box had to say it's not a camera. Who would think it was? The rest is the fun Vigilante 8, which loves to crash when using the expansion pack, Donkey Kong 64, the expansion pack bundle version, Game of the Year Zelda Ocarina of Time, the one that altered the Fire Temple's music and made Ganon's blood green. Last, Majora's Mask. Oh, and my free Atomic Purple controller. Here's my mini pile. What happened was I liked my Genesis, but once my SNES got fixed, I went back to it. So I only got a few games. Vector Man 2 was definitely my favorite. I still want Vector Man 3 to be made. That Bugs Bunny game sucks. The goal is to capture a bull and find items. Half the time I never could figure out where anything was. I have all 3 Sonics, but I don't know if the multi-cart would work with Sonic and Knuckles. If anyone knows, leave a comment. It's probably obvious why my Game Gear pile is small. It had horrible battery life, so I got fed up with it. Not to mention the last game I got for it was Sonic Blast, and the game is just a laggy piece of crap. Here's a better pile, my GameCube stuff. Yeah, it's mainly a Resident Evil station. I got all the main RE games minus RE4. The only great movie-based game, Spider-Man 2, Sonic DX, everyone has Melee, Metroid Prime, which was the first time I played the series. I never tried it out before. I don't know why I never got 2 though. The really rare Pokemon box. I picked it up at the New York Pokemon Center. Still use it today. I really wish it allowed the GB games to work. They would have been unorphaned from the rest of the line. I know, the digital copies of Gen 1 are fixed, but not my physical ones. Pokemon Coliseum, it was okay. It just was filled with lots of grinding. That 100 battle tower was horrible. F-Zero GX? Love the game, but story mode, holy crap, way too difficult. Wind Waker, never hated its graphics like other people did. Alright, my Wii stuff. Let's start off with Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Pretty okay, use of motion controls, was my first Wii game. Tenkaichi 3, totally perfect motion control game. I think the most flawless on Wii. It makes the Kinect DBZ game look like a joke. I highly recommend it. Love Tatsunoko vs. Capcom. Did hate that some characters had to be pulled. I know Tatsunoko's roster very well. I've watched and read most of the characters before. Zelda Skyward Sword. I'm gonna be honest. I hated it. Never finished it. Fee is the worst helper in any Zelda game by far. I'd welcome back Navi any day over Fee's crap that you can't skip. I got RE4 Wii Edition. I did play the GameCube one, but this version was better. It has all the PS2 content. Oh yeah, the DS headset. One thing that Nintendo taught me well is to never rely on their ability to have voice chat in any normal manner. Just use Skype and ignore their attempts. Next is a custom Wii Sports box, because in the US we got a simple cardboard cover for the game, and I got tired of scratching it. Pokemon Battle Revolution was a huge disappointment, which is why I never go near Genius Sonority again. Even the graphics were downgraded. Remember that very first Japanese trailer that showed destructible environments? All gone. Here's all my Sony stuff in one shot: PS1, PS2, PS3, and PS4. The biggest one is the Collector's Edition Arkham City. It's okay, but the Batman statue is black and white. Also, I hate that everything comes out of the bottom, things like the Fallout. My PS1 games, Gran Turismo was my second PS1 game. I got the director's cut of RE. Normally, I don't buy multiple versions of a game once I have one. I usually won't get the remake, but since RE1 had these really goofy cutscenes, I bought the original version. Physical copy of Shovel Knight, always like getting a controllable copy of digital games. Loved Alien Isolation, hope they make another one. Injustice was junk, the cutscenes lagged for no reason at all. Oh yeah, Marvel vs. Capcom 3. This was the last time I got a fighting game from Capcom, and we'll never get another one again because of the way they gypped me out of the content with the Ultimate Edition. A couple of my cases are custom, like Burnout and Mass Effect. I just wanted them to have normal cases. You'll also notice I have 2 DuckTales. The first is the one that came with the pin and the digital code. Then Capcom actually made the real physical copy. I will always prefer the physical copy over the digital one. Got a couple of PS2 games. Still need to get GT3, and I know everyone's thinking, why the hell did you get Angel of Darkness? I know it's bad, but I still need to see why. MUA2, loved the first one. The sequel was just crap, too short, and like 10 characters were stuck as NPC for no reason. Not to mention each console had exclusive characters. Loved Dragon's Crown, great 2D brawler. Favorite characters are the Amazon and the Dwarf. The rest is Back to the Future, Metal Gear Solid, Walking Dead, Tomb Raider Trilogy, Time Crisis 4, Minecraft, and Dragon's Dogma. And lastly, my Wii U and 3DS collection. I got the Mario Kart 8 Nintendo World Bundle to start it off. I also made a custom box for Bayonetta, because we didn't originally get that in the US, and I also went to the launch party that the game had. The rest is the common games. Splatoon, good game, but the ability to not pick stages sucks. Smash Bros. Wii U, I still hate the title, could have came up with something else. Physical copy of Pikmin 3, I got it digitally from the MK8 bundle code giveaway, I just wish you didn't have to use the gamepad as the map. And 3 measly games for 3DS. Basically just shows how little time I have to play stuff, so I don't have many games for it. I do like Pokemon X much better than Black and White. That's it for my collection, thanks for watching, and check back later for part 3 covering my comic book collection next.